Words are not empty sounds. They carry direction, intention, and influence over how people respond to life. When it comes to finances, many individuals unknowingly speak defeat over their situation. They repeat phrases such as, "I will never get ahead," "money always disappears," or "there is never enough." Over time, these statements begin to shape their mindset and decisions. The authority of the spoken word begins with recognizing that what you consistently declare eventually influences how you think, how you plan, and how you act. Speaking with intention about your finances means replacing careless expressions of lack with deliberate language that reflects responsibility and expectation. Instead of reinforcing frustration, you begin to affirm discipline, opportunity, and wise management. This shift in language does not magically create wealth overnight, but it creates a mental and emotional environment where better decisions become possible. When individuals learn to control their speech, they also begin to control their perspective, and perspective often determines whether someone remains trapped in limitation or begins to pursue growth. Financial authority through words also involves acknowledging responsibility rather than blaming circumstances. Many people face economic pressure, rising expenses, and unexpected setbacks. Yet the way they respond verbally can either strengthen their resilience or weaken their resolve. Speaking with authority does not mean ignoring challenges, it means refusing to surrender your mindset to them. When you speak over your finances, you are essentially reminding yourself that you still have the ability to make choices that shape your future. Declaring that you will manage resources wisely, reduce unnecessary spending, and pursue opportunities creates a sense of ownership over your financial journey. These statements become personal commitments rather than empty motivational phrases. Words influence behavior because they reinforce intention. When you consistently affirm discipline and responsibility, you are more likely to act accordingly. The authority of speech therefore becomes a tool that keeps your focus directed toward improvement rather than defeat. Another dimension of the spoken word is its ability to shape expectation. Expectations influence how people interpret opportunities and challenges. If someone constantly speaks about failure, they will often overlook possibilities because their mind is conditioned to anticipate disappointment. However, when individuals begin to speak constructive and purposeful statements about their finances, they gradually develop a mindset that looks for solutions instead of obstacles. Speaking about growth encourages planning, learning, and exploration. It invites individuals to think creatively about earning, saving, and investing. In practical terms, this may mean seeking financial education, developing new skills, or identifying ways to increase income responsibly. Words act as a daily reminder of the direction you intend to move. When repeated consistently, they strengthen belief and focus, helping individuals maintain motivation even when progress seems slow. This steady reinforcement keeps the mind aligned with long-term financial goals. Ultimately, the authority of the spoken word in financial life is about alignment between language, thought, and action. Speaking wisely about money encourages careful planning and disciplined behavior. When your words consistently reflect responsibility and purpose, they become a guide that shapes everyday decisions. You begin to think before spending, plan before committing, and evaluate opportunities with clarity. This approach does not eliminate every financial challenge, but it equips individuals with a mindset that is prepared to respond constructively. The spoken word becomes a daily practice of directing your focus toward improvement. By intentionally choosing language that reflects wisdom, diligence, and confidence, you create a framework that supports better financial habits. Over time, these habits lead to gradual and meaningful change. The authority of the spoken word therefore lies not in exaggeration or unrealistic promises, but in its ability to consistently guide the mind and actions toward responsible and purposeful financial growth. Stewardship begins with understanding that finances are not only about how much money a person earns, but about how responsibly those resources are managed. Many people believe that financial improvement will come only when their income increases, yet history repeatedly shows that individuals with higher income can still struggle when discipline and planning are absent. True financial stability begins with a mindset that treats every resource with respect and intentional care. Stewardship means recognizing that money is a tool that must be directed with wisdom rather than emotion. When people begin to manage their finances deliberately, they start asking important questions about spending habits, priorities, and long-term goals. Instead of allowing money to move randomly through their lives, they give it structure and purpose. This perspective transforms finances from a source of constant pressure into an area where thoughtful decisions create gradual progress. Stewardship therefore begins with awareness, because individuals cannot manage what they refuse to examine. Responsibility is the natural partner of stewardship. It requires individuals to accept ownership of their financial decisions rather than attributing every difficulty to circumstances beyond their control. While economic conditions and unexpected challenges do affect people, responsible stewardship focuses on what can be controlled: spending habits, budgeting, saving practices, and financial learning. When individuals accept responsibility, they begin to evaluate their patterns honestly. They examine where money is being used effectively and where it is being wasted. This process is not meant to create guilt, but to develop clarity. Clarity leads to better planning. When people know where their money goes, they gain the ability to redirect it toward goals that truly matter. Responsible stewardship may involve reducing unnecessary expenses, setting realistic budgets, and committing to consistent savings. These choices might appear small at first, but over time they create stability and confidence. Responsibility shifts the focus from reacting to financial problems toward actively shaping financial outcomes. Another important element of stewardship is consistency. Financial growth rarely happens through sudden dramatic changes. Instead, it is built through steady habits practiced over long periods of time. Saving small amounts regularly, planning purchases carefully, and avoiding impulsive spending gradually create a stronger financial foundation. Consistency requires patience because the results are often slow and subtle at first. However, these disciplined actions accumulate over time, producing greater stability and freedom. When individuals remain consistent, they develop financial resilience that allows them to handle unexpected expenses without losing balance. Stewardship also encourages learning. Responsible managers of money seek knowledge about budgeting, investment, and financial planning so that their decisions become more informed. Education strengthens stewardship because it replaces uncertainty with understanding. When knowledge and consistency work together, individuals are better equipped to make choices that support long-term financial health. Ultimately, stewardship and responsibility transform the relationship people have with money. Instead of viewing finances as a constant struggle, individuals begin to see them as an area where thoughtful management can produce meaningful progress. Stewardship encourages people to align their financial decisions with their values and priorities. It reminds them that money should serve purposeful goals rather than temporary impulses. When individuals practice responsible stewardship, they create a sense of order and direction in their financial lives. This approach does not guarantee instant wealth, but it establishes habits that support stability and growth over time. Responsible stewardship builds confidence because individuals know they are managing their resources intentionally. Through discipline, awareness, and consistent effort, finances become less chaotic and more structured. In this way, stewardship becomes a foundation for long-term financial health, helping individuals build security for themselves while maintaining integrity and thoughtful decision-making in every aspect of their financial journey. Fear often becomes the quiet force shaping how people approach their finances. When individuals repeatedly face financial pressure, uncertainty can slowly grow into anxiety about the future. This fear influences decisions in subtle ways. Some people avoid planning because they are afraid of confronting their financial reality. Others hesitate to pursue opportunities because they believe failure is inevitable. Over time, this mindset limits progress. Faith, in a practical sense, offers a different approach. It encourages individuals to focus on possibility rather than paralysis. Choosing faith over fear does not mean ignoring financial difficulties. Instead, it means acknowledging challenges while maintaining confidence that disciplined action and wise decisions can lead to improvement. When people speak and think with confidence about their financial future, they strengthen their ability to act with clarity. This mindset reduces panic and replaces it with calm determination. The shift from fear to faith begins internally, with the decision to stop allowing uncertainty to dictate every financial choice. Faith also encourages individuals to approach financial planning with courage rather than avoidance. Fear tends to push people into two extreme responses. Some become overly cautious, refusing to take necessary steps that could improve their financial position. Others react impulsively, making risky decisions out of desperation. Both reactions are driven by anxiety rather than thoughtful judgment. A faith-centered mindset promotes balance. It encourages individuals to evaluate their situation carefully, create realistic plans, and move forward with confidence in their ability to grow and learn. When fear loses its influence, people become more willing to seek knowledge about budgeting, saving, and investing. They begin to ask questions, explore opportunities, and develop skills that strengthen their financial stability. Faith therefore becomes a motivator for responsible action. It reminds individuals that progress is possible even when circumstances are not perfect. Another important aspect of choosing faith over fear is the language people use when speaking about money. Words reveal what a person truly believes about their situation. Someone dominated by fear often speaks in ways that reinforce limitation, constantly predicting failure or lack. Over time, these statements deepen discouragement and weaken motivation. A faith-oriented perspective replaces that language with constructive declarations about discipline, opportunity, and resilience. This does not require unrealistic optimism or exaggerated promises. Instead, it means speaking in ways that support responsible effort and perseverance. When individuals regularly affirm their commitment to improvement, they strengthen their focus on solutions rather than obstacles. This shift in language influences behavior because people tend to act in alignment with what they consistently believe and express. By choosing words that reflect hope and determination, individuals gradually reshape their mindset toward progress. Faith over fear ultimately strengthens endurance during challenging financial seasons. Every person encounters moments when progress feels slow or setbacks appear discouraging. Fear interprets these moments as proof that success is impossible. Faith interprets them as temporary obstacles that can be navigated with patience and persistence. This perspective helps individuals remain steady in their financial discipline even when results are not immediate. They continue budgeting carefully, pursuing opportunities, and developing their skills because they believe their efforts will eventually produce improvement. Over time, this steady commitment creates meaningful change. The decision to choose faith over fear does not eliminate every difficulty, but it equips individuals with the mindset needed to continue moving forward. When fear no longer controls financial decisions, people gain the confidence to plan wisely, act responsibly, and pursue opportunities that support long-term stability and growth. Financial stability is rarely the result of isolated effort. It often grows from living according to consistent and principled values. Alignment with divine principles refers to shaping financial behavior around integrity, honesty, discipline, and generosity. These values influence how individuals earn, manage, and distribute their resources. When financial decisions are guided by strong principles, they develop a foundation that supports long-term trust and sustainability. For example, integrity in financial dealings builds credibility with employers, clients, and partners. Honest work and ethical decisions create opportunities that might not appear immediately but gradually strengthen professional relationships. When people refuse to compromise their values for short-term gain, they protect their reputation and maintain stability over time. Living by such principles does not guarantee instant prosperity, but it establishes a framework where financial progress can develop steadily and responsibly. Another aspect of alignment with divine principles is recognizing that money should serve meaningful purposes rather than becoming an object of uncontrolled pursuit. When individuals focus solely on accumulating wealth, they often lose balance in other areas of life. Principles encourage people to define the purpose behind their financial goals. This purpose may include providing stability for family, supporting education, investing in personal development, or contributing to community needs. When finances are connected to meaningful goals, individuals are more motivated to manage their resources carefully. They begin to evaluate spending decisions based on whether those choices support their values and long-term vision. This approach reduces impulsive behavior and encourages thoughtful planning. By aligning financial activity with purpose, money becomes a tool that supports constructive goals instead of a source of constant pressure or comparison. Generosity is another principle that shapes a healthy relationship with finances. While it may seem counterintuitive, many people discover that a generous mindset actually strengthens their financial discipline. Generosity encourages individuals to think beyond their own immediate needs and recognize how resources can positively influence others. This perspective prevents money from becoming a source of selfishness or insecurity. When people give thoughtfully and responsibly, they often develop a deeper appreciation for the resources they manage. Generosity also strengthens relationships and communities, creating environments where cooperation and mutual support thrive. This does not require reckless giving or ignoring personal financial responsibilities. Instead, it encourages balanced generosity that reflects gratitude and compassion. When generosity becomes part of financial practice, it reinforces the idea that money is meant to serve constructive and meaningful purposes. Living in alignment with divine principles also encourages patience and long-term thinking. Many financial problems arise when individuals pursue immediate gratification without considering future consequences. Principles such as discipline, contentment, and wisdom guide individuals toward decisions that prioritize sustainability rather than temporary satisfaction. People who practice these values are more likely to plan carefully, save consistently, and avoid unnecessary risk. Over time, these habits create stability and resilience. Alignment with principled living therefore influences not only financial outcomes, but also personal character. It shapes how individuals approach work, relationships, and responsibility. When finances are guided by integrity, purpose, generosity, and patience, individuals create a balanced financial life that supports both personal growth and the well-being of those around them. In this way, principled alignment provides a stable path for responsible and meaningful financial development. Many people do not realize how often their financial language reinforces the very limitations they want to escape. The language of lack appears in everyday conversations through phrases such as, "There is never enough," "Money disappears as soon as it comes," or "I will always struggle financially." These expressions may seem harmless, yet repeated statements like these gradually shape a person's mindset. When someone constantly speaks in terms of scarcity, their thinking begins to revolve around limitation rather than possibility. This mindset can quietly influence choices, causing individuals to overlook opportunities or feel discouraged before they even begin to plan for improvement. Breaking the language of lack starts with awareness. Individuals must pay attention to the words they use when discussing money, challenges, and financial goals. When they become aware of negative patterns in their speech, they gain the opportunity to replace them with language that encourages responsibility, effort, and hope. Replacing negative financial language does not mean pretending that difficulties do not exist. Many people face real financial challenges that require careful planning and patience to overcome. However, constructive language focuses on solutions rather than surrender. Instead of repeatedly emphasizing what is missing, individuals can choose to speak about what they are working toward. They might affirm their commitment to managing money wisely, reducing unnecessary spending, or learning better financial practices. This shift in language creates a subtle but powerful change in perspective. Words that emphasize growth and responsibility encourage individuals to think more clearly about their next steps. When language becomes constructive, it reinforces the belief that progress is possible through effort and discipline. Over time, these repeated statements strengthen motivation and help individuals remain focused on their goals even when circumstances feel difficult. Another important aspect of breaking the language of lack is recognizing the connection between speech and emotional attitude. Negative financial language often arises from frustration, stress, or disappointment. When people feel overwhelmed by their financial situation, they may speak impulsively without realizing the impact their words have on their mindset. Continually expressing hopelessness can deepen discouragement and reduce the energy needed to pursue change. By intentionally choosing calmer and more constructive expressions, individuals can gradually reshape their emotional response to financial challenges. This does not remove the pressure immediately, but it prevents negative emotions from dominating their thinking. When people speak about finances with clarity and determination rather than defeat, they create a mental environment where thoughtful planning becomes easier. Words therefore serve as a tool that stabilizes emotions and encourages steady progress. Breaking the language of lack ultimately leads to a more balanced and purposeful approach to finances. When individuals replace limiting expressions with statements that emphasize responsibility and growth, They begin to view their financial situation with greater confidence. They become more open to learning new strategies, seeking guidance, and making disciplined decisions. This transformation in language supports long-term change because it reinforces constructive thinking every day. Over time, the consistent use of positive and practical language strengthens belief in personal capability. Instead of feeling trapped by financial challenges, individuals start to see themselves as active participants in shaping their financial future. Their words become reminders of their commitment to discipline, learning, and improvement. In this way, breaking the language of lack becomes an important step toward building a healthier financial mindset that supports stability, thoughtful planning, and gradual but meaningful progress. Finances become more meaningful when they are connected to a clear vision and purpose. Without a defined purpose, money can easily become something that is spent impulsively or pursued without direction. Many people focus only on earning more, yet they rarely take time to define what they want their financial resources to accomplish in their lives. A clear vision helps individuals see money not just as currency, but as a tool that supports long-term goals. These goals may include providing stability for family, investing in education, supporting meaningful projects, or building security for the future. When people understand the purpose behind their financial efforts,